أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم 2 فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور القرآن اللهم زين أخلاقنا بزينة القرآن اللهم شرفنا بشرافة القرآن اللهم اشف مرضانا بشفاعة القرآن اللهم ارحم أمواتنا بحرمة القرآن اللهم ارزقنا رزقا واسعا حلالا طيبا بالقرآن اللهم ارزقنا زيارة المعصومين بالقرآن اللهم ارزقنا حج بيتك الحرام في كل عام بالقرآن اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان بالقرآن وارزقنا زيارته وشفاعته بالقرآن آمين يا رب العالمين. الفاتحة.
Marcia.
برای سلامتی امام زمان باز بلند صلوات. غریب ہوں میں غریب ہوں میں غریب ہوں میں پر محمد وعلى محمد صلوات. غریب ہوں میں غریب ہوں میں اصغر کے خون سے میں نے دیکھو وضو کیا ہے اس امتحان میں اس نے بھی سرخ رو کیا ہے اس کی لحد بنا کر غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں کس قدر ہوں پیاسا، اما بتاؤ کیوں کہ سوکھا گلا تھا اتنا، چلتا نہیں تھا خنجر، قبضے میں رکھ کے کوثر، اما غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں کیسا باپ تھا جو ہے دور امتحانی، روتی رہی سکینہ، میں دے سکا نہ پانی، آئے یقین کیوں کر، اما غریب ہوں میں، برچھی جواں پسر کے سینے سے میں نے کھینچی، انصار و اقربا کی قاسم کی لاش دیکھی، ابن امیر ہو کر، اما غریب ہوں میں، اور گھوڑوں کے دوڑنے سے پامال ہو چکا ہوں، کیا ابھی میں وہی ہوں، حیران ہوں سوچتا ہوں، ناکا بنے پیمبر، اما غریب ہوں میں کس قدر ہوں پیاسا، اما بتاؤ کیوں کہ سوکھا گلا تھا اتنا، چلتا نہیں تھا خنجر، قبضے میں رکھ کے کوثر، اما غریب ہوں میں، اور آپ آ گئے ہی اما، یاد آ رہا ہے بچپن، وہ ساتھ ساتھ چلنا، اور اپنے گھر کا آنگن اب خاک کا ہے بستر، اما غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں، اما غریب ہوں میں، بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
Before we start, brothers, can I ask you all to move as far forward as possible with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. پھر بھی صلوات پڑھ دیجیے محمد و آل محمد. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. آل عمران کہا اور زندان کہا یہ بہن قید ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی غازی. ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیری خوشبو تو رہے تیرے بازو نہ کٹے چاہے مشکی زاچ دے یہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو ہے جدا. مجھ پہ ہے تشنا لبی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی دھوپ میں تو تھا شجر تجھ سے آباد تھا گھر ہے برہنا میرا سر کیا نہیں تجھ کو خبر اے علمدار وفا اس بہن کو باخدا تجھ سے دارس تھی بڑی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی آ گئی شام علم لٹ گئے اہل حرم ریت پر جلتی ہوئی ہو گیا ٹھنڈا علم پرسہ دینے کے لیے مجھ سے ملنے کے لیے آ گئے بابا علی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی کیا کہوں شعر میرے بےردا ہم کو لیے یہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام کبھی اور ہاں ہم پہ ہنسی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی کتنی بے بس تھی بہن اے شہنشاہ وفا نام لے لے
میرا جب یہ ظالم نے کہا، ناز تھا جس پہ تجھے اب بلاؤ نہ اسے، اور میں روتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، قید خانے میں قضا جب سکینہ کو ملی، دیکھ کرتے کا کفن بچی دفنائی گئی، اس گھری نام تیرا صورت ناد علی، دکھ میں دہراتی ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات۔ Please can we welcome Shaykh with Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.
Please come in closer, yes. Allah. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، نحمده ونستعين به ونتوكل عليه، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وخاتم الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين، نبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المطهرين المكرمين، الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله العظيم في كتابه الكريم وهو أحسن القائلين وأصدق الصادقين: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا وأوحينا إليهم فعل الخيرات وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وكانوا لنا عابدين. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. For the purification of the souls, the enlightenment of the hearts, for the acceptance of the deeds, and for the hastening of the reappearance of Baqiyatullah al-A'zam Ruhi wa Arwah al-Alameen lahu al-Fida, enlighten your souls in the atmosphere with the recitation of salawat upon Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Respected elders, sisters and brothers in Islam, Salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. He is one of the most well-known martyrs of the 10th of Muharram, and in fact the youngest shaheed on the plains of Karbala. An individual beloved to the holy Ahl al-Bayt, but especially to his father, Sayyid al-Shuhada, and a young child who means much and whose martyrdom brings forth anguish and pain to the hearts of the lovers of Ahl al-Bayt. The 6-month-old baby, Ali al-Asghar, otherwise known as Abdullah, is the child of Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada Aba Abdullah al-Husayn salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, who attained Shahada on the 10th of Muharram at this tender age. Indeed, the remembrance of this young baby is something that means to you and I and many millions around the world. You recognize that not only the fact that he was brutally killed in such a manner on that day, but also the realization that generally speaking, children and babies who attain martyrdom or are killed in such a manner bring forth a sense of grief and sadness that many human beings often display. You look around the world today and you recognize that when children are depicted with their suffering, when we see images of children and babies who have lost their lives, it truly breaks the heart. Many of us had seen images of that 3 or 4-year-old Syrian refugee, Alan Kurdi, who was unfortunately a person who lost his life and his body was next to the shore, next to the water, and his pictures went viral. It caused an international outcry. Many people would look at that image and feel sorry for this young child who's lost his life, and indeed it was an innocent manner. Likewise, today you find in the United States there is a big problem, and that is where children have been separated from their parents at the border with the United States and, for example, Mexico. And you recognize up until July, the figure said that approximately over 900 children had been separated. Indeed, some have died as a result. And when you read this, it also brings forth a great deal of sadness. Because as adults, sometimes suffering is part and parcel of our lives. But you don't expect the children to go through as much pain. You don't necessarily expect the children to be able to deal with such suffering. When it comes to Ali al-Asghar, or the 6-month-old child of Aba Abdullah, he means a great deal to you and I. His remembrance is something quite unique, because you recognize not only is a night dedicated in the first 10 nights of Muharram for his remembrance, at the same time, you'll find that he and his brother Ali al-Akbar are the only two buried with his father. At the same time, you find that the Holy 12th Imam, Sahib al-Asr wa al-Zaman, Ajjal Allahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, mentions him and sends salam upon him when it comes to Ziyaratul Nahiya al-Muqaddasa. According to many ulama, it is from the Holy 12th Imam, although some say it's from the 11th Holy Imam. Therefore, he occupies a very important position in our hearts. And that's why I know that in Iran this year, on the 6th of September, what they did was they gathered 50,000 mothers and their infants in the stadium known as the Azadi Stadium. And they called it the International Ali Asghar Day, whereby they gathered the women and the children to honor the legacy of the young Shaheed of Karbala. And at the same time, you'll find that in Karbala itself, in the month of Rajab, this year, and perhaps in the previous years, this young baby of Aba Abdullah has also been honored as far as his birth is concerned. Because thousands of children were invited inside the shrine of Imam al-Hussein. They were given gifts on the anniversary of the birth of Ali al-Asghar in order to ensure that they remember this young Shaheed of the 10th of Muharram. When it comes to individuals who gave their lives on the epic tragedy of Karbala, you and I are invited to delve into their lives and to understand many aspects associated with them. No doubt, each and every Shaheed of Karbala stands as unique. And at the same time, many of us are able to connect to different Shuhada of Karbala. You speak to different people and they'll tell you, for example, that they have a special affinity with the altruistic, loyal brother of Imam al-Hussein, Abu al-Fadl Abbas, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Some feel a great warmth and connection with Sayyida Zainab, salawatullahi wa salamu alayha. Others say, I break down when I listen to the Masa'ib of Ali al-Akbar. Others say Al-Qasim. Some say whom? Some of the Sahaba. Like whom? Like for example, Habib ibn Mudahir, Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Burayr. These individuals sometimes connect to different people. Yes. Their stories resonate with people's suffering and people's lives themselves. But arguably, there are many who will come forward and say, the 6-month-old has a special place in my heart. That when I go to Karbala, especially when I go to the place where it is said that he was slaughtered in that place, I break down. And many mothers, as well as fathers and youngsters, will be able to recall the tragedy and the story of the infant of Abu Abdullah. And truly, it's a special story. And his name and his remembrance, something deserves to be studied. Of course, some people say he was only a few months old when he attained martyrdom. How much is it to be able to speak about this important individual? Each and every of these shuhada deserve a full analysis, books and articles and majalis, in order for us to be illuminated from their light and from their legacies. Last week, I was asked by my dear brother Al-Hajj Akhtar to give a majlis on the personality of the 6-month-old infant of Abu Abdullah. And his request was that this entire majlis will be on this important individual or young baby of Imam al-Hussein. Of course, him being a very fond brother of mine, and I have much respect, of course, for his family, but especially his late father, Marhum Mullah Asghar, Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayh. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise him with Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. And many other reasons that brings us so close together. One of them being both of us passionate Liverpool supporters. And I told him that if Liverpool were to beat Napoli, I will give the majlis on the 6-month-old. But unfortunately they lost, but I'll still give the majlis. Yes. And indeed, it's a great honor to be able to speak about this illustrious individual. Many people say that how do you dissect or how do you discuss the lessons to be learned from the 6-month-old baby? Of course, there are spiritual dimensions we can look at. There are theological dimensions. There are historical and there are political. I would like to look at specifically the lessons and the life of this young baby through answering the number of questions. Number 1, what does the title Abu Abdullah mean? Number 2, what is the reality of the identity of the 6-month-old? Was he one child or were there 2 children on the plains of Karbala who attained Shahada on the 10th? Number 3, who is the mother of the 6-month-old baby? And who were the other wives of Imam alayhi salam that were present on the 10th of Muharram? Number 4, what did Abu Abdullah say when his 6-month-old or the infant was slaughtered? What words did he utter? And what does it mean to you and I? Theologically, spiritually, and at the same time, politically. In that, what can we somehow utilize as inspiration as far as the baby of Abu Abdullah, to look at the situation around the world today and to honor his legacy in every single way possible? And at the same time, which prophet of God did Abu Abdullah compare the tragedy of the 6-month-old with, and why? I would like to look at all these in order to be able to shed light upon this beautiful young child of Sayyid al-Shuhada, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. In Ziyarat Ashura, Ziyarat Warith, Ziyarah Makhsus, and Ziyarah Mutlaq, meaning open ziyaras for all times, specific ziyaras for certain times, you and I often recite the following: Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. The realization emerges, and that is the epithet, the title of Sayyid al-Shuhada that is often used to address him is what? Aba Abdullah. And this is one that most of us are accustomed with, isn't it? In fact, we are told in narrations that the person who gave this title to the Holy Imam was none other than his grandfather, the Holy Prophet Rasul al-A'zam Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why? Because in Arab culture, often when children are born, they're given this particular title or kunya, or the idea that they will be the father of someone. So we are told this is part of tajleel wa ihtiram. This is something out of respect to the child, that when they are born, they're given the title, for example, Abu al-Hasan. For example, they are given Abu Nur, and so on. One of the narrations tells us that the Prophet used to address his grandson, Aba Abdullah, as such. And this is found, for example, in a number of resources and texts. If you look at the narration where the Prophet of Islam once was in the house of Salama radwanullahi ta'ala alayha, and of course the famous narration where Imam alayhi salam was 2 or 3 and he enters the room and the Prophet is asleep, and of course the Prophet is then seen crying and Imam al-Hussein is on his lap and Salama enters the room. You recognize that he, the Prophet, would be speaking to Imam al-Hussein and would say to him what? He would say to him, A'azza alayya Aba Abdullah, you are dear to me, O Aba Abdullah. So the title Aba Abdullah, the kunya, the epithet, is given what to him by the Holy Prophet, and is used by the Imams as well. Ziyarat Ashura, Ziyarat Warith, all these ziyaras, we find Aba Abdullah is used. Question arises, what does it refer to? And here it's very interesting to look at the levels and the different ways in which we can see this title. There are esoteric, spiritual dimensions to this meaning, and there are ways in which the majority of people understand it. The first level that we understand about Abdullah is the following: that when you look at the Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse number 73, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Imams that He has chosen. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. We have selected them as Imams that they guide through our commands. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. And we reveal to them the importance of doing good, righteousness, virtue, وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ, and the establishment of prayers, وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ, and the giving of zakat, وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ. They were worshippers, the best of worshippers. One of the realization that emerges from the title Aba Abdullah is what? Is the fact that when an individual remembers Hussein, they remember an epitome of a perfect worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Hussein ibn Ali is the pathway towards servitude of the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hussein ibn Ali embodies that realization of how a true abid of Allah should be. So, Aba Abdullah means the father of the servants of Allah, whom people look at to learn how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how to realize the highest degrees of being Abdullah. Because I tell you, the Quran tells us the highest and the loftiest of spiritual positions and proximity to Allah is to be called the servant of Allah. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan. When you and I recite tashahhud, when we remember the Holy Prophet of Islam, we are told you have to say وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. That servitude comes before the fact that the messenger of God is chosen by Allah as his messenger. Why? Because this servitude means so much that you and I are striving to be what? Referred to as ibadullah. It's a great honor to be known as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi famously says, Ilahi kafani azzan an akuna laka rabba. Ya Allah, it fills me with strength and pride that you are my Lord. Wa kafani fakhran an akuna laka abda. I am full of happiness and it fills me with what? With dignity that I am your servant. Anta kama uhib faj'alni kama tuhib. You are exactly how I want you to be, so make me how you want me to be. When you come to this, you realize that this level of servitude was demonstrated by Abu Abdullah. Immediately somebody asked this question: what about the other Imams of the Ahl al-Bayt? What about the other prophets of Allah? Yes. Aren't they all the manifestation of the servitude of Allah? Of course, yes. They all lead towards what? The worship of the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is a very delicate point that requires your attention. Please focus. In the description that we have, or in the Arabic language, there is a difference between what is known as khususiyya and fadila. What is the difference between fadila and khususiyya? Yes. We are told fadila is a virtue. Khususiyya means something specific given to only a certain number of people or a certain individual. A khususiyya does not make an individual necessarily better than everyone else who doesn't have that, but they're unique. What does that mean? For example, the only person created from what? From the fruits of Jannah is what? Is Sayyidatun Nisa Fatima salawatullahi wa salam alayha. This is a khususiyya, something it's khas, it's unique for Fatima, but doesn't make Fatima greater than Amir al-Mu'mineen or the Prophet. It's something unique for her. Amir al-Mu'mineen, the only individual born inside the Kaaba, this is khususiyya for him, doesn't make it greater than the Holy Prophet. Similarly, Aba Abdullah is given this title, a khususiyya, as a starting point, as the first of the Ahl al-Bayt, who's known as Aba Abdullah, as what? As the individual who is truly what? A magnet towards those who seek worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's specific for him. Yes. Ya rahmatallah al-wasi'ah wa ya bab najat al-ummah. That's why the 8th Holy Imam, when he was asked, aren't you all ships of salvation? Yes. He says, Bala, yes, we are all ships of salvation. وَلَكِنَّ سَفِينَةَ الْحُسَيْنِ أَوْسَعْ. But the ship of Hussein is bigger. وَفِي لُجَجِ الْبِحَارِ أَسْرَعْ. But in the oceans, the ship of Hussein is faster. It's faster. They're all ships of salvation. Yes. That's why you find Laylatul Qadr, Ziyaratul Hussein. 15 Sha'ban, Ziyaratul Hussein. Ashura, Ziyaratul Hussein. Arba'in, Ziyaratul Hussein. Thursday night, Ziyaratul Hussein. Yes? Continuously connect yourself to Aba Abdullah. Why? Because through him you'll understand servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is one understanding of Aba Abdullah. Number two, some scholars have suggested the following, and that the progeny and the Ahl al-Bayt, the Imams of the Ahl al-Bayt are from the lines of whom? Of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Yes? And the holy 12th Imam is referred to in Ziyarah as Abdullah. Yes. And so Aba Abdullah is the father of the Imams, including the holy 12th Imam. It links with the first, and they all can be accepted because these individuals are truly the tools by which people have ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and are truly able to understand how to worship Him Jalla wa ala. The third opinion is with regards to the most common understanding, that people come forward and say that he is known as Aba Abdullah because he had a son by the name of Abdullah. Here the question that has to be presented and discussed with the calmest of intellectual and academic discourses. Yes? The realization that some people come forward and say, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, 6-month-old child, as far as many are aware, is referred to as Aliyan al-Asghar. What does Aba Abdullah mean? Did he have a son by the name of Abdullah? Is Abdullah the same as Aliyan al-Asghar? Or what is the story? This is an important area that requires discussion. It requires your patience so that we come out of these wonderful majalis in which the 6th holy Imam, Jaffer ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, praises so beautifully when he looks at his Sahaba and he says, أَتَجْلُسُونَ وَتَتَحَدَّثُونَ. Do you sit and speak and remember us? And his companions will say, yes, Bala ibn Rasulillah. We do. We gather. He therefore mentions a wonderful line. He says, Wallah innani uhibbu tilka al-majalis. Imam al-Sadiq loves these gatherings. The Ahl al-Bayt love these gatherings. The 12th Holy Imam loves these gatherings. These are gatherings of enlightenment. These are gatherings of empowerment. These are gatherings of love. These gatherings connect to the shrine of Aba Abdullah. These gatherings include individuals who come to take part, to take heed, to shed a tear and remember Hussein. They are included in the list of Zuwar al-Hussein. When we come to analyze this, there are two schools of thought. Who is the 6-month-old infant of Imam al-Hussein? Because when you look at the 10th of Muharram as a historical event, there are many ways in which historians have looked at this event. Of course, the first maqtal, or full detailed historical analysis of the 10th, was arguably by Abi Makhnaf, who died when? Who died in the year 158, yes, after Hijrah. So approximately 100 years after what? After the 10th of Muharram, he wrote what happened. So therefore, there could be a number of different versions or different understandings. Here we need to have what Arabs call, or in the Arabic language is known as sa'atul sadr. That means I'm willing to accept and understand other opinions that may exist regarding some of the events of the 10th of Muharram, provided they're presented with evidence and provided they're not presented with malicious intent to bring down the Ahl al-Bayt or the personality of the Holy Third Imam. Because that ultimately is what matters. His asma, his karama, his dignity of the Ahl al-Bayt is of paramount importance. We reject all the narrations that puts them into disrepute or places them in negative light. When we look at this, there are two schools. The first school is one that argues the following. There is a great scholar, his name is Sheikh Muhammad Sadiq al-Kirbasi, Hafidhahullah. He's still alive. And where is he? Here in London. Since 1987, he has dedicated his life for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And all that he does is research on the life of Imam. He has written 900 books. 100 of them has been published about Imam al-Hussein. How many? On 100 books. Yes? Since 1987 till now, he has these 900 that he wishes to publish. He delves into every aspect you can think of the 10th of Muharram, including biographies of the Sahaba, of the Ahl al-Bayt. One of his books is called Mu'jam Shuhada Bani Hashim, the encyclopedia of the Shuhada from Bani Hashim. And he delves into the lives of each and every individual who was martyred, and of the ladies of the Ahl al-Bayt, and who was there, the historians, etc. And he has a number of pages where he discusses the personality of the 6-month-old. To summarize over 50 pages for you of what he says is the following. He says we have two separate, distinct groups of narrations that talk about the 6-month-old. Let me explain to you. He says one group of narrations say that he was born in Medina. Another group of narrations say he was born in Karbala. One group of narrations say his mother is Ar-Rabab. Another group of narrations say his mother is Ishaq bint Talha. One group of narrations say he was martyred when Imam alayhi salam raised him and asked for water. Another group of narrations say he was martyred when Imam went back to the tent, hugged him and was bidding farewell, and the arrow struck him. One group of narrations say that what? That he was 6 months of age. Another group of narrations say he was only a few days old. And so one group of narrations say his name is Ali al-Asghar. Another group of narrations say his name is Abdullah al-Radhi', Abdullah the infant. Therefore he comes and studies all these narrations. For example, you find Sheikh al-Mufid. Sheikh al-Mufid, when he dissects and talks about, for example, this 6-month-old, what does he say? He says he was slaughtered in the tent. And he calls him Abdullah. Doesn't refer to him as Ali al-Asghar. Sheikh al-Tusi says the same thing. Ibn Makhnaf, no. Ibn Makhnaf calls him Ali al-Asghar and talks about him being slaughtered where? Being slaughtered when Imam alayhi salam presented him towards what? Towards the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad, asking for water and for his thirst to be quenched. Therefore, when he looked at all these narrations, a man of expertise, a man who's dedicated a lot of his life towards studying what is right, but ultimately an individual who's a great scholar and has entitled to his own opinion, he comes to the conclusion that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam had two shuhada on the 10th of Muharram who were children. He says one, his name is Abdullah al-Radhi'. He was born in Karbala. His mother is Ar-Rabab. And he was slaughtered while Imam came to bid farewell finally when he was where? just outside the tent, he said to Sayyidah Zainab, bring me my infant baby, let me bid farewell. And when he was given the infant, the arrow was shot and he was martyred. The scholar Sheikh al-Kirbasi says, another shaheed was the 6-month-old Ali al-Asghar. And he said that through the conclusion from all these texts, it is likely that this is what the case is, and Ali al-Asghar was slaughtered in the way that most of us are aware of. This is an interesting, very interesting research that perhaps some of us may not have come across before. And it highlights a very interesting dimension of the 10th of Muharram. Another group of scholars, they come forward and say that perhaps their opinion is due to the fact that children at that time were protected like women were, and due to the fact that there was perhaps a confusion in the mindset of the enemies, and due to the fact that names were interchanged between the children, there was one shaheed on the 10th of Muharram. Why? Because on one occasion, the time of Marwan ibn al-Hakam, who was the governor of Governor of Medina, he called upon the youth of Medina and he summoned them. One of the people he summoned is Imam Zayn al-Abidin al-Sajjad salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. This was at the time where Imam al-Hussein was still alive. When Imam Zayn al-Abidin goes to Marwan, the governor, says to him, what is your name? He said to him, my name is Ali. He says, what is the name of your brother? He said, my brother's name is called Ali. He says, Aliyun wa Ali? Has your father not found any names other than Ali? Ali al-Akbar goes back, Imam Zayn al-Abidin goes back and informs his father. His father, Abu Abdullah, famously says that I love the name Ali. If I was given 100 sons, I will call them all Ali. Yeah. The realization, therefore, some people come forward and say that That Abu Abdullah loved the name Ali. There was a fantastic relationship between Hussein and Amir al-Mu'mineen. And indeed, their lives illustrated their proximity. That is why Abu Abdullah would want to call all his sons Ali. Therefore, how do we take the narrations that call the 6-month-old or the infant as Abdullah? They say that was a title, kunya, given to him. That, some children, as we said, are given some titles. And at the time of his birth, he was given this title Abdullah. But his real name is Ali al-Asghar. Yes? Now, who is the mother? As we said, Al-Rabab is considered to be the mother of Ali al-Asghar. When we discuss and we analyze Al-Rabab, we recognize that she was a truly wonderful individual who had so much loyalty to other Ahl al-Bayt. Al-Rabab was a person who was known to have the grasp of the Arabic language, especially poetry. And she was truly righteous to the extent that Imam alayhi salam would say, I love a household that has in it Rabab and Sukayna. Sukayna is who? Sukayna is the 13, 14 or slightly older daughter of Imam alayhi salam. Yes. And indeed we are told that Rabab was the mother of the infant and Sukayna. Yes. According to historical records and the works of this Mawsu'a, the Husseini Encyclopedia, published in London, over 100 volumes are available in Arabic mostly. When we come to this, we are told Rabab was a lady who said, when I return back to Medina, and she did so, I do not wish to be covered. I do not wish the house to have any ceiling. They said, why? She said, I wish to feel the rays of the sun burn my body because the body of my husband was on the plains for 3 days. Without a kafan and without burial. Do you know how long Rabab lived after Ashura? 1 year. I saw a number of narrations, which most of our ulamas have put question mark over. Having said that it exists, they say Rabab, when she reached Medina, she could not tolerate living in Medina. She left and went back to Karbala and lived in Karbala for an entire year. Until she passed away. Those are some narrations that are presented regarding this honorable lady. The other lady that people talk about as the possibility of the mother of the infant is Ishaq bint Talha, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayha. Ishaq was the wife of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. When you realize that when Imam alayhi salam was about to leave this world, the second holy Imam, he instructed and asked Imam al-Hussein that you should marry Ishaq after me. And Imam indeed married Ishaq after Imam al-Hasan had left this world and after the Iddah period had ended. And one of the children, they say, could have been the infant. When you examine what? When you examine the areas associated with this young child of the Imam alayhi salam, you recognize a number of crucial statements that Sayyid al-Shuhada, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned at that time. You see, there are some special virtues of this young baby of Abu Abdullah. One of them is the following. They say that as adults, it is possible to remain in the state of patience and to tolerate thirst. But I tell you, how can a child or a baby tolerate thirst? It is not possible because a baby survives majority on liquids. Majority of the baby's body is water, yes. That is why they require milk. That is why they need to be nourished and their thirst to be quenched. That is number one. Number two, we are told one of the special features of this 6-month-old and the baby of Imam al-Hussein was the fact that there was a special connection and focus given to him by Malaikatus Sama and the heavens. Why? Not a single drop, according to the 5th Imam, of his blood returned when Imam al-Hussein raised it to the heavens. The Malaika grabbed onto it. And a number of narration says that when Imam alayhi salam spoke, the Malaika, or there was a sound, there was a voice that could be heard. Don't worry, O Hussein. We have given him nurses in Jannah. We have provided him with wet nurses in paradise. So, this realization is what is given to us regarding what? Regarding what he went through and the suffering that he endured. When you examine the words of Imam alayhi salam, there are a number of very key aspects that immediately emerge. What was the first thing that Sayyid al-Shuhada said when he saw his baby slaughtered? He said, هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. This is key for us to understand. Because Ali al-Asghar or Abdullah al-Radhi' were amongst the few of the Shuhada that attained the fadila of a ma'soom weeping for them. A ma'soom crying for someone is a special virtue. It's not something usual. It's a special status. And for the Imam to mention a number of keywords points to our need to look at those. When Imam alayhi salam says, هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي, what does it mean? It means what I have just now witnessed, I am able to tolerate only because Allah is watching. Only. When you and I go through suffering in life, when you and I go through difficulties, when you and I go through hardship, when you and I don't see light at the end of the tunnel, when there are people who give up, when there are people who despair, when there are people who easily slid into the path of shaitan, when the going gets tough, Abu Abdullah is saying, remember, Allah is with you. Allah is watching. Allah is aware. Allah is all-knowing. Imam alayhi salam says a word of great importance that's mentioned in the Quran. Quran says, Allah says to Prophet Nuh, وَاصْنَعِ الْفُلْكَ لِأَنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا. Construct the ship because you are under our watchful eyes. هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. It is what? It is through the watchful eyes of Allah. Injustice will never go without what? Being held accountable. The wrongdoing will never succeed. There are people today who have suffered extensively. There are people today who are suffering in silence. Others oppress them. Others take their right away. Others don't give them the respect that they deserve. and they are patient for the sake of Allah. They are strong for the sake of Allah. One thing that really gives the boost and inspires and motivates the believer and the lover of Ali al-Asghar and the ashiq of Hussein is the words of Abu Abdullah, that I am also an individual who recognizes and has the cognizance Allah is watching. No injustice will go without it being what? Without it being called upon and I getting my haqq. Maybe not in this world, maybe in akhirah. But that realization is powerful. It is so tremendous. Yes. That Imam alayhi salam is reminding you and I, don't ever despair. Don't ever think you're alone. Don't ever think that you're abandoned. No, no, no. Allah is with you. There is a reason why it happened. There's a reason why you went through that difficulty. It's there for a purpose. Yes. An Imam teaches us that lesson. Number one. Then he says, Ilahi, ما هذا أهون بك من فصيل ناقة صالح. What does he say? Imam alayhi salam, the next line, according to many of these narrations, when he picked up the 6-month-old and when he picked up the baby and he saw him slaughtered in this state, he says, Ya Allah, what has just happened is what? Is compared to the tragedy of the baby camel of Prophet Saleh. Now, very interesting. A ma'soom does not say something unless there are very key points for us to realize. Prophet Saleh is mentioned 11 times in the Holy Quran. His community is Thamud. His community used to live in mountains, carve houses from mountains, yes? What happened was, they came to him, he was 16 years of age when he began the preaching, the message of Tawheed, inviting them towards Allah. They had 70 idols. They used to worship 70 idols. This is according to Al-Kafi from the 5th Holy Imam. When they used to worship, and of course the Quran details the story extensively, when they used to worship idols until the age of 120, Prophet Saleh would preach to them. Prophet Saleh, of course, according to some riwayat, is buried in Wadi Salam, next to Prophet Hud. He's of the Arab prophets who used to speak Arabic, yes? He used to live in northern Saudi today, northern Arabia, Jordan area. Of course, what happened was his community refused. They worshipped the idols. They came to him. They said to him, we will not worship God. He said to them, even if I show you a sign, they said, what do you want to do? He said, gather the people. They gathered the people. Prophet Saleh said, how about this? You ask me something that I ask my Lord, and I will ask you, or I will ask your lords. Let's see who responds. Challenge. They said, very well. Who would like to start first? Prophet Saleh said, I will start, so I will ask first. They said, very well. Of course, Saleh came to the idols, just greeted them and said, all I want from you is to return the greeting back to me. Everyone was watching. Nothing happened. Panic mode. People, his community, Thamud, the elders and those in charge, they came and said, what do we do? Of course, there's no answer from the idols. How are we going to move forward? They came forward and said, very well, maybe our gods will not respond until they see your God's response. He said, what do you want? They said, there is a rock that we worship. We want from that rock a she-camel. We want it to be pregnant. We want it to be red. We want it to be hairy. And we want it to give birth to a calf. He said, very well. Saleh prays to Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds, and this is one of the miracles that Prophet Saleh displayed towards his community. When this particular rock, people could see split and a she-camel emerged. And of course, thereafter Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said that the community of Thamud, their examination is that they should allow the she-camel to drink from the water from the river one day, and they drink another day. And they are able to then utilize her milk. Because they used to milk the she-camel and drink. All of them used to drink. Much barakah used to exist in the milk of the she-camel. And of course, she gave birth, and there was a young baby camel, a calf. What happened was that some of the Bani Thamud, they decided to kill the she-camel. And a man who was one of the most wretched individuals, according to the narrations of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam, he hid behind a tree or rock. When the she-camel passed, he struck the camel and indeed killed the camel. Narrations say maybe he also killed the she-camel or the baby camel, or some narrations say no, that camel was not killed. Irrespective, why did Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam compare the issue of Thamud and Salih and the she-camel with the slaughtering of his infant baby? Number one, because the community of Thamud were given a blessing, a great ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This ni'mah was to be looked after, was to be respected, was to be honored. This great blessing and favor from Allah was not to be violated. Allah says you can drink from their milk. I have given you a great miracle. All I'm asking you is don't harm this animal. Don't approach it. Don't kill it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them a blessing and said, I don't want it violated and I don't want it abused. Come to Karbala. What did the Imam say later on? He says, Ya Allah, you are witness that they've just slaughtered a baby who has resemblance to the Holy Prophet, who looks like the Messenger of God. This ni'mah that they had, that is to have Sayyid al-Shuhada with them. This blessing of having the grandson of the Prophet amongst them. How did they deal with this blessing? And by the way, this blessing continues with us today. Yes. Because when the verse was recited by Imam alayhi salam, the sixth holy Imam, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, speak to people about the ni'mah of Allah. He asked people, what is the ni'mah that I should speak to people about? They said wealth, health, security. They said all blessings. He said the greatest ni'mah, the Quran says, اليوم أكملت عليكم اليوم أتممت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي. The blessings of Allah was perfected on the 18th of Dhul Hijjah, and that is the wilayah of Ali Muhammad salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi majma'in. Therefore the realization is, number one, they violated the ni'mah that Allah had given them, and they've slaughtered even what? They've slaughtered even the 6-month-old. Number one. Number two, Amir al-Mu'mineen said, do you know what Allah did to whom? As the Quran mentions, of course, and the Imam explains, Allah destroyed all of the community of Thamud. Why? Because of the actions of one man. But they were pleased with the actions of one man. They did not practice Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar. They did not enjoin the good and forbid the evil. And therefore the recognition is what? Imam alayhi salam is saying here, that what? That if you are partaking in this crime, you will all have to be held accountable. Not just Harmal ibn Kahil. You've all got blood in your hands. Yes. If you do not enjoin the good and forbid the evil, and if you are silent over the oppression that has happened to me, then the withdrawal of the mercy of Allah will befall upon you. وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. Yes. That is number two. Number three, Sayyid al-Shuhada continuously mentioned the prophets in his mission. He recited verses that Prophet Musa alayhi salam recited. Therefore, in this instance, when he refers to Prophet Salih, he is saying, I am warithul anbiya. I am the inheritor of the prophets. Yes. I am the individual whom truly displays those qualities and characteristics that all the prophets had and more, and demonstrated their teachings throughout my life. And it was manifested on the 10th of Muharram in the best possible ways. But the question that people ask is, why did Imam al-Hussein present his 6-month-old or the infant whilst he knew he will be killed? Is that acceptable? How is that possibly explained? Number one, this is the will of Allah, mashi'atullah. Because when so many people told him, how can you take his family? How can you go? He said, Sha Allahu an yarani qatila. It is Allah's will that I am slaughtered. And then they said, what about your family? Why are you taking your family? Sha Allahu an yarahunna sabaya. It's the will of Allah that they are taken as captive. He, and of course all the prophets and the imams, the Ahl al-Bayt, work in accordance with the directions and commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I may not know what the reasons behind it are, but of course today we are able to. Today we are able to fathom. Please understand this point. The verse in Surah Al-Anbiya 73 says what? Says that وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. Please focus on this word. The word in the verse says يَهْدُون. They guide continuously. It's the present tense, yes? We are told that the Imams of the Ahl al-Bayt continuously guide you and I, even though they are not here. Even though only one of them is here, yes, by person. This hidayah from Ali Muhammad, how does it take place? Yes, it takes place, for example, in the case of Imam al-Hussein, through the remembrance of whom? The likes of Ali al-Asghar. When you and I recall the tragedy of Ali al-Asghar, we are connected more with the 10th of Muharram. We are connected with the principles and the values and the University of Karbala, aren't we? So this hidayah is continuous. This remembrance is ongoing, yes? The second important reason why Imam al-Hussein presented is one of the ulama, the mujtahid who's alive today. He says, for me, the biggest sign of Allah on the 10th of Muharram was the 6-month-old. The marja said, why? The ulama said to him, why? He said, because today when you speak about injustice, when you talk about wrongdoing, you can easily say that there was babies and children slaughtered on the 10th of Muharram. And it's not by accident. When Umar bin Sa'ad says to Harmala, اقطع نزاع القوم, stop the dispute of the people. They did it deliberately. So anyone who argues that this is a haqq, this is justice, what justice is there in killing a 6-month-old baby? So it is to prove hujjah on the day of Qiyamah that Imam al-Hussein was on the right path, that Aba Abdullah is on the path of haqq and righteousness. Otherwise, why? Yes, this idea, why would they slaughter a baby? Why would they slaughter a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, and so on? Now, the important lesson here for us to take away, and that is the following, that one of the reasons why Imam al-Hussein put forth his child is to encourage you and I to understand the essence of sacrifice in our lives. Hussein gave his asghar. What am I going to give? Today, many people talk about sacrifice. Sacrifice is a beautiful word. Everybody who is successful in life must have sacrificed in one way or another. What is sacrifice? Sacrifice is to give up something that you really dearly like and love and you have for something greater, something more valuable. Yes? Sacrifice is not that you give away that which you don't want. People today, when, for example, talking about sacrifice, often the word or the issue that is described is what? Is the idea that I give for the sake of Allah. Nafaqah. I give charity for the sake of Allah, yes. Many times we have these charity boxes and we are bothered by the coins in our pockets, so we put them in the charity boxes. Quran says, you know what sacrifice is? لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Sacrifice, righteousness, virtue is when you give that which you absolutely love and desire. And the more you love it, when you give it, the more reward you get. Because it's harder. It's attached to your heart. It's attached to your existence, yes? Hussein is saying, is there anything more beloved to me than my sons and my family? As far as this world is concerned. As far as material, or whatever I have, yes. But I am giving it. He didn't have to give his baby. Yes, you could argue that Ali al-Akbar would have to fight in the battlefield. Yes, and he did so willingly by himself. But Hussein to come and sacrifice his own child illustrates what? That we have to give much more than what we are thinking that we are giving. In which way? Sometimes it's not only wealth. Sometimes it's our time. Sometimes it's our ego. Sometimes it's our wrong beliefs. Sometimes it's our relationships that we have. We have to give it up for the sake of Allah. That is a sacrifice, yes. Today, we live in a climate and a world which engineers the minds of our children to live a very easy, convenient lifestyle which is devoid of hardship and difficulty, isn't it? Patience is much less than before. If I sit there waiting for something, yes, I will complain because I expect things to happen quite quickly. Yes? As opposed to back in the time, perhaps 20, 30, 40 years ago when there was no phones, systems weren't as advanced as today, technology was not as progressive, and people were willing just to wait and be patient and so on. There's nothing wrong with the technology and the advancement and the ease of life that we have. But one thing that must not be separated from our personality, from our objective, from our lives, from our focus and mindset is the idea that I have to give. What is it that I am giving? Question yourself. Muharram comes, Safar comes. What have I given for the sake of Allah? In the name of Hussein, what have I given? Sometimes it's the performance of a bad habit. Sometimes it's the fact that I don't wake up for Fajr. Sometimes it's when I listen to haram music. Sometimes it's my disrespect of someone that... Sometimes it's the ego because I haven't spoken to someone in the community or my family for 20 years because of a dispute. Sometimes it is my willingness to take extra steps to enhance my spiritual position and my understanding of my religion. Yes? In today's world, there is much need for us to identify our sacrifice, to identify the tadhiyah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, Rabb al-Alameen is so wise. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala comes to Ibrahim and says, what's the beloved most thing to you? Your son Ismail, yes? You've waited so long, you're over 100 years, I want him. Here, give me Ismail, yes. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala comes towards whom? To those two individuals and asks you that question. Sometimes we block away those questions. Sometimes we refuse to necessarily what? To refuse to necessarily give that or become lenient for the sake of Allah. And that is why, indeed, one of the most memorable areas when we refer to this young baby is what? Is the realization that what? That Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam wants us to wake up sometimes from the slumber and wants us to realize that this world and our success in this existence and our victory in Akhirah is related to how we follow his footsteps. Yes. And what is it that we give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any shape and form? And some people ask the question, Ali Asghar's name, how can it be used politically today? Well, I tell you, in Yemen today, there are 5 million children who are severely malnourished. How many? 5 million. There are 15 million human beings who are what? Who have on the verge of starvation. 15 million. Sometimes, you know, the world of football, when players are sold and so on, millions becomes nothing. And so we get, you know, numb by these figures. 15 million, 3 million, 5 million. When you go and see the extent of the suffering of these children around the world today, in the name of Ali al-Asghar, we need to seek to do whatever we can to alleviate the suffering of these children. Help the children, help the orphans. In Iraq, there are 5 million orphans who are still suffering. In Syria, so many orphans and children, yes, who are going through so much difficulty and hardship. The realization today is that the remembrance of Ali al-Asghar should be a remembrance against all forms of injustice against children. Isn't it? Here we have a young baby slaughtered on the plains of Karbala. And today, there are so many of these babies slaughtered in different plains. In Yemen and in Syria and in Iraq and in Afghanistan. And in other places. And so this remembrance should be something that drives us to do something. At least whatever is possible to help save the lives of children around the world. And make their lives even better. And indeed ease their suffering. But I ask you, Ahl al-Bayt and the children of Ahl al-Bayt, the suffering of the babies and the children of Ali Muhammad was not confined to the 10th of Muharram. So when you speak about Abdullah al-Radhi or Ali al-Asghar, you speak about a tragic, heartbreaking, rendering stories. One man who was one of the Nasibis hated the Ahl al-Bayt. It is said that he was passing by a Majlis in Damascus in Sham. He used to speak against Ali Muhammad. He used to speak about the Shia. We are told that he stopped outside a Majlis. He listened and listened. They saw him later enter. They were afraid, why is he entering? But they allowed him because he was crying. They said to him, what has happened to you? He said, Wallah, that 6-month-old changed my heart. They said, why? He said, when I heard the musibah of the child, I could no longer tolerate, but the tears flew down my cheeks. How can anyone slaughter a baby in such a manner? But Ali al-Asghar was not only the child of the Ahl al-Bayt that was slaughtered, yes. Come to Fatima and her son Muhsin. Ya Allah. The poet comes forward and says, I imagine a conversation between Muhsin and Ali al-Asghar. One is speaking to the other. Muhsin is the uncle of Ali al-Asghar. They both went through so much hardship. Imagine what they're saying to each other. Yes. Ali al-Asghar says to Muhsin, says, oh uncle, you know how badly I was thirsty. I could not even cry on those last moments of my life. That the tears had been dry. That the mouth was dry. That my lips were broken due to the heat and the thirst that I had. Oh Uncle Muhsin, you were what? You were martyred and I was martyred. But I tell you, what broke my heart was the face of my father Hussein. When I saw him for the final time, how he pleaded with them for water for me. I wish I could say something to him, but I couldn't. I wish I could say, Father, Father, don't worry, I don't want to see you this way. The poet says, yes. Oh Muhsin, shall I tell you what Harmala did? Oh Muhsin, Harmala saw my neck. Harmala saw the whiteness of my neck. When I felt the arrow, and this is in the narration, the arrow pierced through my neck and entered, and it came out from my mouth. It came out from my mouth, yes. Oh Muhsin, when I was carried back, yes, when I was breathing my last, I was not given to my mother. I could not see my mother because my father says my mother cannot bear to see me in this state, yes. Oh Muhsin, I had no kafan. Oh Muhsin, that my own cloth was my kafan. I had no ghusl and no kafan. Allahu Akbar, I ask you, what did Muhsin say to Ali al-Asghar? He says, oh my nephew, oh Ali al-Asghar, at least you were able to look at your mother in your last moments. I never had a chance to look at my mother. They never gave me a chance to look at my mother Fatima. Oh Ali al-Asghar, your mother's chest was dry because there was no milk. My mother's chest has a nail through it. Oh Ali al-Asghar, you were hugged by your father in the last moments of your life. In the last moments of my life, I was squashed between the wall and the door. Oh Ali al-Asghar, you looked at your father in your last moments. You saw the eyes of your father in the last moments. The last thing I saw in this world was the slap on the cheeks of my mother. Oh Ali al-Asghar, you were buried with your father, but where is my grave today? Yes. Where is the grave of my mother Fatima al-Zahra today? Yes. That's why we are told Imam Zayn al-Abidin, when he came to bury the body of his father, Imam al-Hussein, when he looked at the body and he recognized the body straight away. The body was torn into pieces. The body was like a hedgehog covered with arrows. Yes, and he noticed that, of course, that the body had no head. He sat next to the body. He cried and cried. And then he tried to lift the body, to place the body inside the grave. But the body would not be placed inside the grave. He asked, "O Bani Asad, do you have any piece of cloth?" They said, "Why?" He said, "I would like to gather the body parts of my father Hussein." They said, "Why?" He says, "Every time I pick up the body, one part of it falls off." Bani Asad said, we looked at him. And you know those last moments when a son buries the body of his father? They would like to remorse, they would like to have some kind of grief, they would like to cry, they would like to hug the head of the father, the neck of the father. Zayn al-Abidin looks at the body inside the grave. There is no neck and there is no face. He looks at the body. They said, we saw him leave the grave. The moment he left the grave, he came back. Later we asked him, Ya Zayn al-Abidin, where did you go? He said, I was looking on the plains of Karbala. What were you looking for? He said, I was looking for the severed fingers of Hussein. Ya Aba Abdullah, yes. They saw him leave. They saw him leave the grave. He came back afterwards with something under his abba. They saw him enter the grave. They said to him, Ya Zayn al-Abidin, what was those moments? He says, when I placed the fingers next to the body, I heard a call from the direction of the body. My son Ali, bring me my baby, my baby. Place my baby on my chest. Place my Asghar on my chest. I say to him, Zayn al-Abidin, what chest of Hussein was left to leave Asghar on? Yes. That's why on that night, Sham Ghariba, his mother Rabab on the plains of Karbala walks back and forth. They say to her, Rabab, what do you want? She says, I want my baby, my baby. Why? He was crying, I wish to feed my baby. They said, your baby's not here. She will speak to the plains, to the sand. Oh, sand of Karbala, if you are next to my baby, I beg you, don't burn his neck. His neck has an arrow. I beg you, don't hurt my baby Asghar. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين وإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to honor us with the shafa'ah of the 6-month-old baby of Imam al-Hussein on the day of Qiyamah. We pray to him subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to sacrifice whatever we can in life to honor the religion of Islam and the madhab of Ahl al-Bayt. We pray to him subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq to be able to visit the shrine of Imam al-Hussein in dunya and to be with him on the day of Qiyamah. We pray to him subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the souls of our marhumeen, especially Al-Hajj Al-Marhum Mullah Asghar and all our marhumeen. Ya Allah, bless them with your mercy and raise them with Aba Abdullah Al-Hussein. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless those who have established this majlis, the blessed family of our dear brother Akhtar and all of his family, and grant them tawfiq and success in dunya and akhirah. I ask you to remember all the marhumeen and all your marhumeen, as well as the shuhada, the maraji', the ulama, Khadamat al-Hussein, those who gave their lives in honor, in service of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, with Surah al-Mubarakah al-Fatiha, but before it, salawat. Ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya حسین یا 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 حسین یا
حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا
We'll be quick because we've got 2 minutes here, so go for that, wait.
یا حسین 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 یا حسین
When I say that's what, so go for that, wait.
سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ خود کربلا پہ گھر دیا تو نے حسین یا 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 حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین
Oh, Halik. Halik, ready? Now.
خالق تیرا ممنون ہے خالق تیرا ممنون ہے مرتضی اور فاطمہ کے نور ہے یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں
Let's hear this. Aja.
آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے ہائے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں
Let's try Sani, let's try. Let's try Sani from here. Bismillah.
تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری میرے لاڈلے کہا ہو میرے لاڈلے کہا ہو سینے تمہیں لگاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں میرے لاڈلے کہا ہو میرے لاڈلے کہا ہو سینے تمہیں لگاؤ اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں سارے آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ رو رو کے چومتی ہے تجھے رحم میں ڈھونڈتی ہے تیری موت کی خبر میں کیسے اسے سناؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ماشاءاللہ آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ رو رو کے چومتی ہے تجھے رحم میں ڈھونڈتی ہے تیری موت کی خبر میں کیسے اسے سناؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں بیٹا تمہارا قاتل میرے سامنے کھڑا ہے جانے کیوں ہنس رہا ہے چادر بھی لٹ گئی ہے منہ کس طرح چھپاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں بیٹا تمہارا قاتل میرے سامنے کھڑا ہے جانے کیوں ہنس رہا ہے چادر بھی لٹ گئی ہے منہ کس طرح چھپاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں ہے بیردا آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا آل احمد جنگلوں میں آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا زینب و کلثوم کا ہے زینب و کلثوم کا ہے سر کھلا ہے سر کھلا آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا آل احمد
شمر کا خیام میں یوں آ کے چادر چھیننا، شمر کا خیام میں یوں آ کے چادر چھیننا، ہم نہ بھولیں گے کبھی بھی، ہم نہ بھولیں گے کبھی بھی واہی جابا کی صدا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں شمر کا خیام میں یوں آ کے چادر چھیننا، شمر کا خیام میں یوں آ کے چادر چھیننا، ہم نہ بھولیں گے کبھی بھی، ہم نہ بھولیں گے کبھی بھی وہی جابا کی صدا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا، آل احمد جنگلوں میں بیردا ہے بیردا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، 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 کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، روتے شبیر کو زہرا کی لحد پر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، روتے شبیر کو زہرا کی لحد پر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، اپنا سر مار کے دیوار سے رویا غازی، اپنا سر مار کے دیوار سے رویا غازی، جب نبی زادی کو آتے ہوئے باہر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، نور آنکھوں کا گیا قاتلوں سے پوچھے حسین، نور آنکھوں کا گیا قاتلوں سے پوچھے حسین، کوئی بتلائے کسی نے میرا اکبر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا غم میں ڈوبا ہوا، کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، نور آنکھوں کا گیا قاتلوں سے پوچھے حسین، نور آنکھوں کا گیا قاتلوں سے پوچھے حسین، کوئی بتلائے کسی نے میرا اکبر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر 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 دیکھا، دور تک پھیلی ہے قاسم کی جوانی رن میں، دور تک پھیلی ہے قاسم کی جوانی رن میں، دیر تک ڈھونڈتا پھر سے پیمبر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، راوی لکھتے ہیں کہ سجاد کو جب ہوش آیا، راوی لکھتے ہیں کہ سجاد کو جب ہوش آیا، جلتے خیام میں زینب کا کھلے سر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، راوی لکھتے ہیں کہ سجاد کو جب ہوش آیا، راوی لکھتے ہیں کہ سجاد کو جب ہوش آیا، جلتے خیام میں زینب کا کھلے سر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر دیکھا، یہ فقط حوصلہ تیرا ہے میرے مولا حسین، یہ فقط حوصلہ تیرا ہے میرے مولا حسین، کوئی دفناتا نہ بیٹے کو پیمبر دیکھا، غم میں ڈوبا ہوا کربل کا مسافر 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 دیکھا، میرے سر تو ستمگار رہا نہیں، چادر 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 میرے سر تو ستمگار رہا نہیں، اے زہرا دی نشانی ہے، زہرا دی نشانی ہے، کوئی آمردہ نہیں، چادر میرے سر تو ستمگار رہا نہیں، چادر میرے سر تو ستمگار رہا نہیں، اے زہرا دی نشانی ہے، زہرا دی نشانی ہے، کوئی عامر گار لہانے چادر ہے میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے اے پاک رضا فاطمہ زہرا دی امانے پاک رضا فاطمہ زہرا دی امانے حقدار دی دنیا حقدار دی دنیا رسول میں سنانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے پاکیزہ چادر ہے میں کو جانے تو پیاری پاکیزہ چادر ہے میں کو جانے تو پیاری ناپاک نہت تیرے ناپاک نہت تیرے تو ظالم میں کھلا نہیں چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے سلوٹیا دا پردیس سدے بچے او سہارا بیمار سجاد بیمار سجاد ادھی مرض ودا نہیں چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لانے اے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے کٹ کے بھی جو قرآن دی کردہ ہے تلاوت کٹ کے بھی جو قرآن دی کردہ ہے تلاوت سرویر نمازی دا سرویر نمازی دا تو نے زیت چڑھا نہیں چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے کٹ کے بھی جو قرآن دی کردہ ہے تلاوت کٹ کے بھی جو قرآن دی کردہ ہے تلاوت سرویر نمازی دا سرویر نمازی دا تو نے زیت چڑھا نہیں چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے چادر میرے سر تو ستم گار لہانے یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، وعلى أولاد الحسين، وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي يا أبو الفضل العباس، وأختك زينب، وأم كلثوم، وبنتك سكينة. السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، علي بن الحسين، ومحمد بن علي، وجعفر بن محمد، وموسى بن جعفر، وعلي بن موسى، ومحمد بن علي، وعلي بن محمد، والحسن بن علي، والحجة بن الحسن، عجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهوره. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. صلوا